Hi, beautiful souls. My name is Angela, and welcome to Path to Temperance. I'm an intuitive healer, channel, and energy reader. And if this is your first time here, welcome. This is a channel of love and light where I share my personal experiences to help guide you along your own healing and ascension journey to ultimately raise collective consciousness. If you are returning, of course, welcome back, beautiful souls. So I have actually taken a few days off here, really guided to just kind of rest, recoup for myself. I've really been having like a lot of integration here for the past few days. But in this time, I have been receiving a lot of downloads and syncs coming to me, right? So the first one is I made a new friend. And it's a little grasshopper. He's been following me around for days. Like he's literally just like, he was on my deck with me a few nights ago. The following day I saw him again, and then I go outside and then he's like zipping around me. So it's kind of like this grasshopper has been following me around. I'm immediately in my conscious mind thinking of leap of faith, but then I'm also reminded of Jiminy Cricket from Pinocchio, right? And he was Pinocchio's consciousness, right? He was leading Pinocchio down to choose between the good and the bad, right? So this definitely has a lot to do with all of the energy that has been surrounding us lately, where many of us are being guided to take leaps of faith and actually use our consciousness, your moral guide here, okay? Another thing that has been happening as well is my freezer has been acting really strange. Like the ice maker, it's not making ice, and it never did. It was kind of like always had this issue, right? But now all of a sudden it's like leaking water, but it's again not making ice. And now I have this like frozen block in my freezer, and I had to literally like take everything out so I can let it melt. I had to literally like unplug the freezer too, because it was leaking so much that it was turning like the breaker off, right? So this is really letting me know that through this transformational period right now, this energy that is surrounding us, we're still really in that solar eclipse energy here, and definitely fully in Mercury retrograde at this time too. There's a lot of mishaps happening, there's a lot of technological things happening, and then what it makes me think of is that it's kind of like, it's like the consciousness and the heart, because when I think of this refrigerator, my freezer stuff going on here, a block of ice, it's hardened emotions here, okay? And because of our hardened emotions, it's very hard for us to, where does our consciousness go? Where is our true north? Where is our moral compass leading us? Another thing is when I woke up today, I went outside on my deck and it looked like it was probably maybe some precipitation from last night. Maybe even if we had any sort of rain. But the strange thing was there was a bunch of like little gnats that were under a layer of water on my table. Just dead gnats everywhere. Okay. When I think of gnats, or when they come to me in my physical world here, I think of negative energy, this low vibrational frequency for me, okay? And so seeing them all dead on my table underwater, it's exactly what's happening here. So we can connect all the dots, right? So Jiminy, my grasshopper friend, right? Well, Jiminy was a cricket, right? Whatever that's about. But anyways, so Jiminy here, my new friend, is showing us that we need to start paying attention to our conscious mind, right? We need to start bringing our conscious, thoughts, and we need to connect it to the heart, because our heart is frozen, right? And so now these gnats, this low vibrational energy, this toxic energy needs to be drowned out. There is a death and rebirth energy that is here. And I know that because we are in eclipse season now with the full moon later in the month, right? That is going to be in the sign of Scorpio, which is all about death and transformation, right? So this is all kind of like lining up for us, showing us that from the solar eclipse now here to the lunar eclipse towards the end of the month, that all of this energy is coming together and saying it's time to bring our consciousness. It's time to start waking up our consciousness, start connecting it to our heart. It's time to start melting this hardness in our heart away. It's time to start drowning out the toxicity, the negativity. Because when we do start taking conscious steps and making conscious choices, our morals and our values, and following our truth, that is when everything is going to start melting here in the heart space, where we're going to start allowing things to flow. So the fact that I actually had to take everything out of my refrigerator because it's shut off and I'm literally there with like a pan, it's just melting. I have to just wait for all of this to melt. Okay, I have to wait for it to just slowly undo itself. And that could absolutely be, you know, like a perfect analogy here as well for this energy, in line with how it's, one, awakening us, and how, two, it's kind of leading us down this path of healing. In what ways can you start slowly letting these emotions flow? How can you take this ice block and let it start melting, and then let Jiminy help you, your conscious mind, right? How can we apply and tie these two together here? So for me now, realizing that I was calling my little grasshopper friend Jiminy when realizing he's actually a cricket. And what that's kind of telling me here, guys, is that there's always going to be some sort of misconception. We are always going to have to take our conscious mind and connect the dots. We have to be aware when we are like, it's like we have to bring awareness to the details. Okay, and I think that's why I'm relating this grasshopper, where I initially felt, oh, it's take a leap of faith, but then it's also reminding me of Jiminy Cricket from Pinocchio, okay? Because it's really telling us that we have to apply our conscious mind to actually take leaps of faith, to pay attention to the details, to become aware, right? To become aware of the toxicity and let it die out. Because many of us are just so filled in this life with negative thinking. We are very ego driven. And when we are constantly in that frame of mind, we do not see any different. It's up to us to bring us out of that, you know. And I speak a lot about that stuff here, is kind of like, it's up to us. It's up to us. And many of you may say, well, if it's that easy, how come everyone isn't doing it? It's not easy. That's why you have to choose this. You have to choose sanctity in life. Right? You have to choose to say, I want to offer myself bigger than the mundane world, than my mundane, I want to say, life. And I'm not here saying that, you know, life is mundane and that is a life you are living. It's just when we start having this higher perspective, when we start using our conscious mind and then tying it into our heart and letting our emotions flow and letting us really live life through our heart and listening to our own inner guidance, it's what brings us to a place of solitude and knowledge and awareness and calm and balance and purpose. We are all built on autopilot here. We all have to be Jiminy, and we have to start bringing our conscious mind to the conscious. Like, we have to be aware. Look, to liberate ourselves. I know I'm on point here with this, you know, because when I am kind of like getting these downloads and I'm connecting the dots, right? I have to be using my knowledge, my wisdom, my conscious mind, my moral compass to tie all of these things together for it to make sense. That yes, pardon me, it's a time of liberation. You may also be seeing a lot of dragonflies during this time, so do keep that in mind here. Definitely a big sync for that. When we think or have, you know, like these little gnat bugs that come around us, right, in our physical world, how does that make you feel? You get irritated, right? There's like these like little bugs like flying around you. That is how we have to start seeing the negativity that surrounds us, because it might not actually look like negativity off the bat, you know, because let's use the example that this gnat, okay, this small bug is flying in your house, right? You don't notice it. You're not paying attention. You're not aware that this gnat is here, right? But it's just buzzing around, living its own life, right? You aren't aware until it comes into your view, into your conscious mind. This is what this is about. This download is telling us that we need to start building up this momentum, start reaching this place of liberation in our mind, start bringing the subconscious to the conscious. Because when we start doing that here, beautiful souls, that is like our first little turning point. That is the first little notch on the wheel to get that gear moving here. To become conscious. Okay, is this something that aligns with me or not? Am I doing these things or making these choices based on how I feel or what I know, or it is my instinctual choice, or is it just, you know, autopilot and okay, sure, whatever, and you're just doing it because? We start processing those types of things here, beautiful souls. So, my beautiful angel, spirit guides, ancestors, the highest white light, and decree only my beautiful higher self. In regards to this download here, or multiple downloads, and how I've really connected the dots here with my little grasshopper friend, our drowning gnats, and then my frozen freezer, this like ice block. It's rebirth. Okay, I'm hearing rebirth. All right, so many of you guys, if you are going through major transitions in your life, especially with your inner child, okay? And so then this can definitely go back to like this Jiminy Cricket analogy here, right? Because if you've ever seen Pinocchio, you can kind of remember that baseline story, right? He was a little wooden boy and his wish was to be a real boy, right? And you remember how his nose used to grow because he was consistently lying and choosing the wrong path in life? But little Jiminy was here really trying to help him, wake him up, like, come on, we have to start making better choices, okay? And this is linked to our inner child because, again, when we are younger, we are, you know, our environment and everything that we go through basically subconsciously programs us. They say the first 7 years of our life, after that time, that is who you are. That is what you reflect into the world. That is everything that you learn in the first 7 years of your life. It's the inner child. The inner child is what we take with us in life. That is our subconscious programming for the first 7 years of our life, our inner child. So no matter what happened, good or bad, that is where we are living life here, okay? So now, imagine you have a little grasshopper friend. Well, in my case, it's a grasshopper, but we can call him Jiminy, right? Okay, so imagine you have a little Jiminy on your shoulder and you're in a situation. It's kind of like we don't want to just go with our instincts because then we're working from our inner child here. That may be where a lot of the damage is. I know personally that's where it was. So much inner child work that I've been through, that I've had to rediscover, that I've had to rewrite. Because before, yes, I was working for my inner child. I was very passive aggressive. I was very people pleasing. I was very timid and afraid to speak my truth. And there's still things in these regards that I'm working through. This stuff, if you've been following me, there's layers to us, right? We're depth. We have to break down things here, But at the same time, it's like if we just automatically, if we don't stop to think, to use our conscious mind, to check in with our friend Jiminy over here, right? We are just working on autopilot from all the trauma, the pain. I want to say damage, but we are not damaged here, beautiful souls. It's just all of the things that we are holding on to have really placed us in a space where we hardened our heart, right? And now we're gnats. We're just buzzing around. We're buzzing around, and I'm saying gnat because when I think of a gnat, their energy gives me like a peskiness, right? Like a toxicity type of energy. Like anytime I see a gnat, I immediately call on Archangel Michael because I feel like it's negativity, okay? But that's just my own personal energy that I, translate with that kind of stuff. But if that is how I'm able to translate this message, the gnats are dead on my table underwater because it's our job to do that. It's our job to take this negativity, to take this toxicity and drown it out by starting to open our hearts and letting all of this stuff go. We are hardened from our inner childs here. Our inner childs are crying out for us to start paying attention. Little Jiminy here, look at, and she's kind of just like sad and like in the fetal position, just kind of like curled up. That is exactly how a majority of society is running around here, beautiful souls. We're just all timid little children, afraid to be heard, afraid to be seen. That's very powerful stuff. And when we start bringing our inner child back to the surface, that's where our transformation is. That's when we start aligning with our truth. That's when we start stepping into our authenticity. It is all held within our inner child, good or bad. Allow me to give compassion and love to that little one. Let me attend to its deepest needs and feelings. And that's exactly what we need to do. And wasn't I just talking about that? I just got chills. Okay, because we were talking about, we really need to start paying attention and into our heart space. What's in here? Why is it hard? Why is it all hardened? It's a delusion. We've caused ourselves to live in a gigantic delusion of karma. The gnats, the toxicity, the negativity. We drowned it out, right? And then now we harden our heart. Now we're living in delusion. Now our lives are filled with karma because our little friend Jiminy, we haven't been listening to him, right? It's all connected here, beautiful souls. Jiminy, our consciousness, is really trying to wake up and start to say, hey, listen, okay? Everything that we have been choosing in life, not everything, and of course, take this always how it resonates here, beautiful souls, but I'm passing along a message that I know that me, my spirit team, my higher self will reach who it's meant to through all time and space. So if you are this far along in the video, you resonate with knowing that part of your life has been a delusion. You have been living in massive amounts of karma, good or bad, okay? I'm getting a lot of negativity because, again, these gnats that we need to drown out, the toxicity, the negative karma that we need to start burying so that we can get out of this delusion here. Intention without surrender can be a fast path to delusion. Setting intention to make changes here, beautiful souls, is always our first step. Always the first step. There's nothing from a past life that can't be addressed in the current, okay? So there's nothing that has happened in your past that you cannot address, heal, let go of, to transmute and release. To deepen our bond with ourselves, right? And look at here, karma is still on the bottom. Once you're on earth for enough lifetimes, your old soul will begin to long for non-grasping detachment and surrender. They bring the peace of God. And so I think that a lot of us too, with everything that we've experienced, everything that we hold on to from our inner child, remember? And this is even talking about our past here, okay? We have to learn the art of detachment, that everything we experience does not need to follow us and be a burden to us. We have to learn that it can be addressed. So if my little grasshopper friend, which I have now named Jiminy, would like to tell us something, my beautiful spirit team of the highest white light, what can we kind of really give here in regards to this download and how we've kind of connected everything here so far? Oop, that fell down. So Jiminy, exactly, is our intuition, right? Is coming to our consciousness and starting to become aware of things, right? And trusting the things that are coming up for us, trusting our own moral compass, trusting all of the feelings that we get, all of the nudges that we get, right? To come home to self-love, okay? And that was the biggest thing for me on my journey here, beautiful souls, okay? In my past, had little to no self-love. Okay, I did not know how to nurture and tend to myself. I had such negative self-talk. And that could be something that many of you actually go through as well. And this can definitely go back to Jiminy and Pinocchio, right? Because, Pinocchio didn't have a conscious mind to know what was right from wrong. And so when we continue to go down the quote unquote wrong path for so long, we completely dismiss the conscious mind, the intuition, the love that we need for ourselves. Because if we don't have our own self-love, we don't feel any self-worth. We never feel good enough. Okay. All of these energies and all of these, grandiose things that we would all love to feel, it all comes within. But societally, we've all been taught to look outside of ourselves. Oh, if I buy this new car, I'll be happier. Oh, when I purchase a home, of course, it's beautiful to have goals and set intentions for that kind of stuff, but that is not the source of your happiness. And I think that many people end up in life saying, well, I have all these beautiful cars and I have this beautiful, gorgeous home and I have all these wonderful things I could ever dream of, but I still feel unsatisfied. I still feel unhappy. There's not self-love here. acceptance of self, acceptance of the pain and the trauma that we've been through, to be that little Jiminy on our own shoulder here and say, what are things that I can address and I can let go of, and start accepting myself. That was a huge hurdle for me. I'm always going to continue working on self-love, but I have grown into a space where if I have any negative self-talk, that is obviously emotion where I slap that shit away, right? I'm not going to sit here and talk negatively to myself when I know that I am beautiful and worthy. And that's how we have to start reprogramming this stuff, to accept ourselves and give us the love that we need. So if you could tap into your own little personal Jiminy here, right? I like that little name. But if you could really, think of that movie and then tap into that type of energy from it, right? Okay. Pinocchio really needed help from Jiminy, and Jiminy tried for a while, but Pinocchio continued to make bad choices. Again, showing our free will. We have the choice. It's our choice to choose this direction or this direction, good or bad. But when we become aware of our conscious mind and start paying attention to the details, that is where we begin following our truth, our own moral compass, to know what is right and wrong for ourselves. So even going back to what I was just saying, like, I can consciously catch on when I start talking negatively to myself, out of here. And I turn it around immediately. The crumbling. That's probably also why I saw like these gnats dead under this layer of water. Things are crumbling. We're coming up now into the full moon, the lunar eclipse here with Scorpio. Transformation, the things need to crumble right now here, beautiful souls. We need to unbind ourselves from all of the pain. We have to release this patterns, the contracts. Because if you are, already kind of, in the spiritual world here, you are aware that we have soul contracts, right? We have soul contracts with certain individuals. We have literally contracted things that we want to learn, things that we want to, experience in this life. It's all contracted. And when we start acknowledging that, right, when we bring it to our conscious mind, that's when we can start devoting ourselves to ourselves, right, to our self-love and our intuition, to tune into the portal of our heart. Because it's time for us to create heaven on earth. We contracted ourselves to come in here, yes, experience the pain, but that's where the lesson is. That's how we start learning self-love, to release the things that don't serve us, to address the things. And, as I've been on my healing journey here for a while as well, I have journaled and been channeled, things from my own personal Akashic records, where I can say, like, I had an abandonment wound that I was dealing with for a long time from, like, my parents, right? More so like my dad. But what ended up happening here is that in my past life, I had a past life with my now mom in this life here, okay? And I was dealing with an abandonment wound in this life that was still from that life with my mom. We carry things over. It's cell memory. So some of you may actually be even able to pinpoint that. Be like, okay, I have this trauma or this pain, but I can't find it in this life. Don't doubt that it comes from a different one. That's a little bit off topic, but that absolutely can relate here, okay? Time to start calling our power back, cutting the cords, soul retrieval. Exactly. So it's kind of like, if there are things that have occurred to us in our past lives, we bring it. It's time to retrieve that. It's time to start bringing back fragments of ourselves here. Remember, we're energy. We're souls having a human experience, not the other way around. But many people living in the ego, they don't see that. We're just humans living in this flesh body, I didn't even ask a question. But I got Anna, grandmother of Jesus, seeding the light, laying foundations is a divine plan. So basically the divine is really just backing me up on everything I'm saying here. That is a divine plan. This is what we choose to do. We are a soul having a human experience. And now it's time to lay that foundation. It's time to tap into our little personal Jiminy's, our conscious. to start melting this gigantic ice cube that is in my freezer, right? To start drowning out these little gnats, the negativity, the toxicity that takes over our everyday life, that keeps us blocked and stuck in a stalemate, stagnant energy here. To raise our vibration. I'm being guided away from this deck. Just a moment. Okay, so my beautiful angels, spirit guides, ancestors, the highest white light and decree only, my beautiful higher self, with all this energy here, bringing our consciousness, kind of really being aware of everything. Let's get some guidance here, okay? Please, some guidance. Was kind of drowning out this negativity to really start, taking a journey, kind of like this journey that I feel like needs to happen here. To know that we are all abundant, okay? And this is telling me of when I see this card, I think of our masculine energy, but the healed version, okay? So it's kind of like maybe backing up here that, our wounded masculine energy here in society is really what's keeping us in this kind of stalemate energy in life, right? Where we're not able to fully come into our consciousness, become aware of the details because we are so, kind of like wounded in a way here. Yeah, it's definitely masculine energy here. So what do we need to know about this masculine energy with all of this? Yeah, the masculine energy in society, right? It's collapsing. It's collapsing. I don't know if you just saw that orb. Do you want to tell us more about this collapsing masculine energy here in society, my beautiful spirit team? This collapsing masculine energy. It was a foundation that was built for us, right? Look at, there's a journey card, and I was just kind of like, immediately, it's a journey. This stability, this home, quote unquote, this home that we have built, right? Within our masculine energy, the wounded part in society, right? It's time to move on from this, okay? It's completion. Look at 10 and 20, okay? We're coming up to a completion phase here, and I think that's why I'm being guided to speak on these things and how I have connected the dots. Again, with taking a leap of faith, to start becoming aware of our conscious mind, to start melting the ice in our heart, letting the emotions flow, and drowning out the negativity, the toxicity. It all makes sense because that is the wounded masculine energy. That is collapsing. This is what we were brought up to be a part of. This masculine, this in society, in the community, or I didn't pull the community card. It was really showing us that that's stability. The divine is saying, it's time to start moving. It's time to start moving. What's your Gemini saying to you? That is where your unexpected wealth is, okay? And it's not literally just financial wealth here. This is abundance, okay? We have been in a stalemate energy for the longest time. And journey's still on the bottom, okay? We have to trust that this journey leads us to abundance, to break this mold. It's time to break the mold here. This is a collapsing industry. It's a collapsing industry. Privileged lady and sudden wealth, and then main female. So then now it's telling us that the sudden wealth is in the feminine energy. The abundance is waking up our feminine energy. 74 on my battery. That's 11 alignment for me for sure. Look, and then we have 11 and 12. Okay. This is also how I was speaking about a little bit ago, the art of detachment here, okay? Because life is a gamble. We have to be willing to take a leap of faith, okay? If we stay in the ego, because the privileged lady is giving me a lot of ego as well, okay? Because we can be in the wounded feminine energy as well, where we are emotionally unavailable, where we have that hardened heart, right? We have to soften ourselves. We have to take the leap to come into the nurturing part of our feminine energy here. Under that is adjudication. So just basically, again, backing up that this is our choice, So, my beautiful angel, spirit guides, ancestors, the highest white light, and decree only. Let's go ahead and close out this message here today. So now we've kind of tapped in. We know that the wounded masculine energy in society, it's collapsing. Okay, as we speak, it's on the brink. We are beginning to collapse this. Okay, this is falling down. And now, as we're going to start tapping into the feminine energy, this is why Gemini's here, right? Our consciousness, right? This is why my freezer is frozen right now. It's a block of ice, and I have to melt it. Society needs to melt this hardened emotion. Okay, the gnats are drowned on my table. It's time to release this negativity, to put an end to it. Expectation and false person. Okay, because yeah, we have just been, this is giving me like an energy of society has built people to just expect everybody wearing a mask, and that is exactly what happens in this life. Okay, we all have a gigantic mask on in our life. We hide our true emotions, we hide our authentic selves, we hide the things that we want to share because we don't want to be judged, we don't want to be put down, we don't want to, feel left out, outcasted, whatever the case. We all wear a mask in this life here, beautiful souls. And all it does is, hold us back from doing the true healing work. Because now we're all just kind of stuck in this cycle in the world here. And we're all filled with a bunch of negativity and toxicity. I have marriage on the bottom. We come into these places, these unions with ourselves, within other people, that end up causing a lot of, we're working on things that are only making us ill-willed. We're tired. This is why Jiminy is here, my little grasshopper friend. He's here trying to say, let's start becoming aware of the details here, my beautiful. I don't know if you heard that. That's confirmation. We have to start paying attention to the details. Pay attention to your surroundings. How do they make you feel? Do you feel like you can't speak up when you need to? Do you feel like you have to block out your true emotions? Do the people, places, and things that you are surrounded with make you feel alive, that you can feel comfortable in your own skin? Because if not, it's time for change. When I receive these downloads here, beautiful souls, these messages clearly resonate for me as well. But I am guided, and I know which ones that I need to be sharing. Okay, which ones have a bigger, meaning for everybody out here, for collective consciousness. So if there's one thing that you do today here, beautiful souls, really take a look at your life and be honest with yourself. Use Jiminy, your grasshopper / cricket friend. Let him point out the gnats in your life. Be it people, places, things, way of thinking, way of living, addictions, whatever, is not letting you be your true authentic self in this life. And let's start becoming aware of that. Community coming back out, okay? We are surrounded by people, unfortunately, that only hold us back. And, it's a very hard pill to swallow, but at the same time, that is where our transformation begins. When we start seeing that things are not anchored in, that we have the ability to set ourselves free if we want to. So it's time for us to look at yourself in a high honor, okay? You are worthy, you are good enough. Always. But if we stay in this, wounded masculine part of ourselves that is collapsing, it is breaking down. You have to take the initiative. You have to speak with Jiminy here. Breath work is very important. That helps regulate the nervous system, okay? So when we are dealing with, traumatic things that may be coming up, if you are starting to release things and cut out negativity and things of that sort, our body is so used to fight or flight mode that it literally takes adjusting. When we are transitioning out of things that we have been so accustomed to for so long, our body needs time to regulate. Breath work is very important through these big transitions. If you choose paths, this path to, become aware and use your conscious mind to start making conscious choices. You're going to need to know how to regulate the body as you go through these very, very big changes. I love this message today. Of course, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to contact me. Like, share, subscribe, all the fun things. And until next time, beautiful souls, love and light to you.